What's going on, everybody? It's Q from Retro Q Gaming, and in light of Nintendo announcing that they're actually killing off the Virtual Console and not bringing it to the Nintendo Switch in any way, shape or form, and instead they're, let's call it, replacing it with that frankly terrible offer of a Nintendo online subscription service that wants to be Netflix for games, but again, in my opinion, that is a brutal system as it's offered. In light of that, what I thought I'd do was show how important and how influential the Virtual Console is to many people. And the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to show you my Virtual Console. I'm going to show you my Wii, granted it is ported forward onto the Wii U. I'm going to show you my Wii U version as well, and I'm even going to show my 3DS version, just to get across how important this is. Now, here we are here first. We are looking at my Wii Virtual Console. Now, it's important to note here that while the Wii servers and all are gone, that this is technically about 90% of my Wii Virtual Console downloads. The reason why it's only about 90% is Nintendo, in their infinite wisdom, only allowed you to emulate a certain amount of space on the Wii U in Wii mode. So despite actually having significant amounts more storage on the Wii U than the Wii actually has, you still can't take advantage of all that in Wii mode. So I have about 90% of the most important games that I actually downloaded from the Virtual Console. Now, there's a couple of things that are important to note on this whole video. I'm not going to go in and play all the games, of course, because that would take forever. But I want you to note two main things. One, how many games there are, the sheer volume of games, and two, think of the monetary investment in this whole thing, okay? So, let's take a quick look through the whole thing anyway. I do have to kind of sit at a weird angle, so I do apologize for this if I get a bit low in volume. But let's see what we have here anyway. We've got, along the lines, we have ActRaiser, a great Super Nintendo game. Another thing to note as well, actually, is look at the amount of games that are on each individual platform. I think the most I have is probably the Super Nintendo, which I can probably attest to. Most people's are probably the Super Nintendo as the majority of their purchases. But the fact is that they offered so many. On the Wii, for example, they had the NES, the SNES, the Mega Drive, the Master System, the Commodore 64, the Nintendo 64. There was a bunch of systems on there. They even had the TurboGrafx 16 and the TurboGrafx 16 CD, or the PC Engine. But anyway, I digress. So we have, as we see, we have ActRaiser. We've got Breath of Fire 2, Bubble Bobble, and that's, granted, okay, that's the NES version. But we've got Castlevania, I'm pretty sure that's Rondo of Blood. Yeah, that's Rondo of Blood. We've got Chrono Trigger, Donkey Kong Country, Double Dungeons, Final Fantasy IV. Okay, that's the after years. That's actually the WiiWare version. Something else that's important to note as well here is look at some of these games. Some of these games are very expensive to buy in person and to buy actual cartridges and boxed versions of or whatever. Look at Rondo of Blood, a game in this form that never properly came outside of Japan. Granted, we had the terrible Super Nintendo port of Dracula X and all that, but you see my point. Chrono Trigger as well. Back in 2000, well, in the early 2000s we'll call it, Chrono Trigger still hadn't come out here. The DS version, I believe, hadn't come out, and there was no Super Nintendo version. It's just like later on when we look at Super Mario RPG, that was first never released over here, and the first proper way you could get it was either obviously import a copy or get it on a Virtual Console. It gave us access to so many games as a European that we never grew up with. Anyway, let's keep going. Ghoul Patrol. Granted, it's not as good as the original, but still. Harvest Moon, Mega Man X. Mega Man X is a very expensive game these days, especially if you look at Mega Man X2 and X3 as well. Mystic Quest Legend. That's Final Fantasy Mystic Quest for you Americans out there. Ogre Battle. I don't remember what MBO stands for. Monster Battle something? I'm sorry. Paper Mario. Revenge of Shinobi. Wait, for a second I thought it said something else. Secret of Mana, my favorite game of all time. SimCity, Sonic the Hedgehog 1, Sonic the Hedgehog 2, Splatterhouse, Streets of Rage 1, 2, and 3, Strider, if my Wiimote would actually recognize here, Super Mario 64, Super Mario Kart, Super Mario RPG, Super Mario World, Super Metroid, Super Probotector. That's Contra 3, by the way, for you Americans out there. It was called Probotector here. And let's see what else we have. We have The Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past and Zombies Ate My Neighbors. Again, look at what we have here. That's right there on that page. That's 12 games, 24 games, and what's that? 24 and 8. That's 32 games right there on the Wii version alone. And there was a few games I can't actually get on here because I couldn't fit them all on it, just because of how Nintendo handled the whole thing. So that's it for the Wii version of this. But think about what I've said so far. The amount of games we have here. Look at the monetary investment that I personally put into all of this. And you could say that, oh, the Virtual Console is a one-off purchase, whereas Nintendo want to drive you towards a subscription thing. Well, let's look at it this way. With everything I have in just the Wii version alone, how many years would it take me to have to subscribe to the new Nintendo service just to cost this much money? And again, this is only on one platform so far. And I believe, off the top of my head, I haven't counted, but I'm pretty sure that my Wii collection is my smallest of the 3 Virtual Consoles. Anyway, let's move on to the Wii U. So here we are back on the Wii U version of all this. We've seen the same deal with the actual Wii version, and now we're back onto here. There's a bit more expanded platforms, some platforms removed, some added, but anyway, let's get going. We'll just give it another example of what we have here. Advance Wars, Advance Wars 2, Black Hole Rising, Advance Wars Dual Strike, Breath of Fire 2, Bomberman 94, Donkey Kong 64, Donkey Kong Country 1, 2, and 3. On to our next page, we've got Earthbound Beginnings. We have Earthbound. We have F-Zero, Fire Emblem Shadow Dragon, Fire Emblem The Sacred Stones, Golden Sun The Lost Age, Harvest Moon 64 and Harvest Moon, Mario Kart 64, Mega Man Battle Network 2, Mega Man X, Mega Man X2, Mega Man X3, Ogre Battle 64, Paper Mario, Pilot Wings, Super Castlevania 4, Super Ghouls and Ghosts, Super Mario 64, Super Mario Kart, Super Mario RPG, Super Mario World, Super Metroid, Super Punch-Out, Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past, Legend of Zelda: Majora's Mask, Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time. So again, look at what we have here. There's a bit more per page here. So we have 15 games, 30 games, and then we have another additional 10. So 40 games on here as well. And again, when you look at the price of some of these games, some of them are almost €10, some of them are €10 and over. And of course, yes, there was the fact that Nintendo actually charged you to bring stuff forward, which was a bit strange in and of itself. Look at how many years I would have to subscribe to the Nintendo subscription service, and then even then not be guaranteed to get the games I want, the games I can cherry pick, and the games I actually want to buy and play. Instead, I would have to be forced to just use whatever games they give me, and I would be stuck with that, and there was nothing I could do about it, short of either playing them or not playing them and unsubscribe to the service. This also brings up another point that I wanted to use here too. I had to wait till I got to the Wii U version to actually show it. When you think of games, like say for example here in Europe, as I mentioned, we never got Earthbound, we never got Chrono Trigger. You see where this could be a bit of an issue, and we never got Super Mario RPG. There's a bunch of other games too, but the Virtual Console allowed so many of those games easy access to all of us over here in places that never got them. Let's look at Earthbound Begins. What is Earthbound Begins? Well, Earthbound Beginnings. Earthbound Beginnings is Mother 1. Now, I know someone's going to leave a comment in the comment section below about my accent and how it doesn't like to pronounce the word mother, because I have to stop to actually think about saying that. But anyway, so Earthbound. Earthbound is Mother 2. Mother 1 never came out over here. It never came out in America until recently. It was previously only translated as a Virtual Console exclusive. And now, the ability to do something like that, it's rumored at the moment that Mother 3 will actually be getting an announcement, something similar to this, in a Virtual Console style service. Or maybe now, because there's no Virtual Console, it will be exclusive to that subscription service. And how many people does that screw over? I'm not paying €20 a year just to get Mother 3. No, not at all. Not a chance. And not even would I not get Mother 3, but I would only get to keep access to it while I keep paying. So essentially, if I wanted to really keep it, per se, for as long as possible, I'd probably be looking at spending several €100 over the course of the Switch lifespan. Just for Mother 3? Probably not. Anyway, you see my point. All these games, on top of all the Wii games that we've already seen, it's just a bit ludicrous that Nintendo won't give us what millions of people have used, have spent ridiculous amounts of money on, and they just, what we want. And it's very anti-consumer. It's bad enough that Nintendo made us pay to bring over Wii games onto the Wii U. And even then, not all of them were even available. Anyway, let's move on from the Wii U and we'll go to our final entry in this little series, which is the Nintendo 3DS. So we're on to our last member of the bunch, the Nintendo 3DS, or in this case, the new Nintendo 3DS. Because this one is a little bit different in the fact that it actually has Super Nintendo games on it as well as all the regular stuff on the standard 3DS. Now I do think that it's a little bit bullshit that Nintendo did that, because in fact you can go back and not only hack a regular 3DS, but you can hack a regular DS and it will play Super Nintendo ROMs perfectly fine. And of course Nintendo have said that the regular 3DS and the normal DS can't do that, but that of course is an absolute lie. But anyway, we're going to move along to illustrate my point here about just how important, as we've seen, the Virtual Console is on all platforms. Let's let this boot up real quick. Now we've already seen it on the Wii, we've already seen it on the Wii U. And now we'll take a look at, let's get the volume down, and we'll take a look at it on the 3DS as well. So, let's get in nice and close here. We'll try to get both screens on at the same time. So, I've got a bunch of stuff on here anyway. That's all my main software and all that stuff. But I also have these 6 folders. You can just see them here, these 6 folders. They're all obviously alphabet and alphabetized and all and whatnot. But let's go in. Let's take a look at what we have here. This one is listed as our Game Boy. So when we go in, there's not much here on the Game Boy front. We have Pokemon Red. Well, it starts, I always say Red first because I grew up playing Red. We have Pokemon Blue, Pokemon Red, Super Mario Land, and Super Mario Land 2, 6 golden coins. So, nothing crazy on there as well, but the fact is that these games are available on the Nintendo 3DS. Game Boy Advance, now there's a bit more here when it comes to the Advance. We've got stuff like Fire Emblem, F-Zero Maximum Velocity, Fire Emblem The Sacred Stones, Kirby and the Amazing Mirror, Mario Kart Super Circuit, unfortunately the worst Mario Kart game, Mario vs. Donkey Kong, Metroid Fusion, The Legend of Zelda Minish Cap, Wario Land 4, WarioWare Inc., Minigame Mania, and Yoshi's Island, Super Mario Advance 3. One quick thing to note I will say here is that some of these games are not properly available and only available to people that were unfortunate enough to buy a Nintendo 3DS at launch, because regardless of what most people actually say, but a lot of people forget, the Nintendo 3DS actually flopped for almost an entire year. It launched, flopped, had basically no games for almost an entire year, to the point where Nintendo actually cut the price significantly and gave out something like 12 or 14 free games to people who already had one. So, now they were all Virtual Console games, some of them made available later, some of them not. But anyway, let's keep going. Game Boy Color, same deal here. Look at these wealth of games, different variety, different genres, different everything. Harvest Moon, Pokemon Crystal, Pokemon Gold, Pokemon Silver, Pokemon Trading Card Game. I know there's a little bit of the glare on the screen and it's not perfect here, but Pokemon Yellow, Super Mario Bros. Deluxe, The Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening DX, The Legend of Zelda Oracle of Ages, and The Legend of Zelda Oracle of Seasons. NES, let's look at what we have on the NES, if it would ever load up. Balloon Fight, Donkey Kong Jr., Ice Climber, Mario and Yoshi, Metroid, NES Open Tournament Golf, Super Mario Bros., Legend of Zelda, Wrecking Crew, Legend of Zelda 2, or Zelda 2, The Adventure of Link. Now, so far we've got a decent amount of stuff here. Let's go on to... I won't... You know what, we'll go into the Sega 3D Classics. These games don't technically count as Virtual Console games, but we've only got 4 of them in there. Sonic 1, Sonic 2, Streets of Rage 1 and 2. And Super Nintendo. Now this is the biggest and most important here, because the Super Nintendo is the console that everyone loves. We've seen what I have on the Wii, on the Wii U. I'm sure what you have on there is just as important and just as memorable to you. Look at all of that. All those Virtual Console games. All those games that Nintendo cannot sell again on the Nintendo Switch. Let's look at them. Let's keep going. Breath of Fire. Breath of Fire 2, Contra 3D Alien Wars, Donkey Kong Country, one of the best platforming games ever made, Donkey Kong Country 2, Diddy Kong's Quest. I could have sworn I had Donkey Kong Country 3. Oh, wait a minute, I don't remember. Anyway, continuing on. Earthbound, Final Fight 2, Final Fight 3, F-Zero, Mega Man 7, Mega Man X, Mega Man X2, Mega Man X3, Pilot Wings, Street Fighter 2 Turbo Hyper Fighting, the best version of Street Fighter 2, Street Fighter Alpha 2, a game that should not be on the Super Nintendo because it runs so poorly, Super Castlevania 4, Super Ghouls and Ghosts, Super Mario Kart, Super Mario World, Super Metroid, Super Punch-Out, Super Street Fighter 2 The New Challengers, and The Legend of Zelda A Link to the Past. So look at everything we've seen so far. From my Wii collection, to my Wii U collection, to what's on the 3DS. Look at how important and how versatile the Virtual Console is. And Nintendo are throwing all of that away. There are millions of people out there, myself included, that had been clamoring for a Virtual Console. It's the one thing that actually is a perfect fit for the Switch. Not all those other games that aren't the perfect fit that everyone likes to say they are. But this is literally the one thing that is. And we don't get it. And Nintendo are abandoning that. They're abandoning us. They're abandoning the Virtual Console. There's so much that they are abandoning. It was done so well on the Wii, so poorly on the Wii U, and arguably almost as poorly on the 3DS. Between the regular 3DS and then splitting it between the new 3DS, having a unified account system and not giving us any of the benefits like a shared save file system, cloud saves, or even a free copy of whatever was on the other platform. It's just done so poorly, and Nintendo are continuing that trend and having an even more poorly designed system by not having it when it comes to that. Anyway, I'll leave it there for that. Let me know in the comments section below just how disappointed you are with the whole Virtual Console situation. Let me know what your favourite Virtual Console games were on whatever platform, be it Wii, Wii U, 3DS, whatever it was, new 3DS. Let me know all of that stuff, all the usual good stuff that I always want to hear, especially when it comes to the likes of the Virtual Console and just why we can't have such great features and such great games easily available on the Switch, which obviously is portable and handheld. Portable and handheld, that doesn't make sense. Portable and home console. Because it could do for the market what the Wii U and 3DS failed to do. Have the portable version and the home version available to work perfectly together. Something that these couldn't do. So anyway guys, let me know all of that good stuff in the comments section below. I hope you enjoyed the video. Hit the appropriate button to let me know how I did on the video. While you're at it, maybe even hit that subscribe button, and just for the sake of it, let's turn on notifications. Granted, YouTube probably still won't send you all the updates and all the live stream notifications and whatever, but hey, at least you can say you tried, right? As always guys, thank you for watching so much, and I will see you in the rest of the videos in my channel.